Hello and welcome. We are here with a new episode of Truth Bombs and Bloopers. And for everybody who has watched our previous episode where we talked about stress, we went into conscious manifestation because stress is also and very often related to unconscious thoughts in our heads that spin around like a carousel. And when we achieve to become fully present and don't really judge the outcome or fear the outcome, and we start to accept what is, and that there is a logic behind everything, how it happens, we can really achieve a less stressful life. And that's how we would like to start the conversation. Priska, you told me before that you went into the theme of acceptance, acceptance of the moment. Can you tell us a little bit more what you discovered, what you experienced with that?
Yes, I'd love to share about that. In order to be aware or spiritual, we don't have to sit on that pillow or have a crystal in our vagina or whatever. We don't have to do all stuff. We just have to be present. And if this is something that if you like to dance. If you love to go out in nature, to have a walk there, do that. For me, like my dog walks are like the meditation time, to really ground, to connect, to come back home in my body. And I think this really is very important, because many people think, oh my goodness, I cannot sit in stillness, or I cannot do this. And then they feel like I'm just not made for that stuff. But maybe you just have to translate what it means to you. When do you feel like, oh, I'm arriving in the moment, I'm getting into the now, I can feel myself again, I can be present with my feelings. And I think this has so much to do with acceptance, because of course, in order to accept something, we have to know what's going on within ourselves. And very often we are so like, because we don't want to accept what is going on in our feelings, we push stuff away, we numb, we eat, we watch Netflix, I don't even know, drink red wine. I love all of this, but like it can become something negative if we like use them as some pushing away mechanism of what it actually is. And what I just like, acceptance is in my life's work of the Gene Key. So acceptance is something that's very big in my life. And the shadow aspect of acceptance is like constriction, when you have all these rules, when you don't breathe fully, when you keep yourself small, you put yourself in a box, you try to contain everything. And I think this is how the world operates in so many ways. We try to put people into drawers, and we try to label everything. And in order to really be free, to really be who we are, acceptance is the key. And acceptance is the key in the sense of we have to stop judge ourselves up and foremost, and others, of course. Because when we stop judging ourselves, that's when we get really free. That's when we can sit in pain. That's when we can sit in anger. That's when we can sit in frustration, in joy, in bliss, in ecstasy, in all of the feelings. We don't have to put the bad or the good label on them. We don't have to restrain or constrict ourselves in our expression, but because we can just be who we are in the now, without knowing what's going to happen from there. And this is for me where the true freedom lies, because then we really are in the present. We don't need to have a plan. We don't need to, have an agenda. When we can just be with what there is, that's when we become truly also like open to the divine guidance from above. Maybe you can say something about that as well, because I mean, like we both are, you're a manifesting generator, I'm a generator, so we are here to respond. And if we are not open, we cannot see the signs, we cannot see the signs. Oh, it's time to do that now. Or if we, for example, are in lack mentality and we're constantly thinking about, oh my God, my money, we cannot see the doors that are opening, for example, now in Corona times. And I mean, like, it's such a, I get it, it's such a fearful thing, because so many people's existence literally is on the verge of collapsing. Because especially in culture, you work in culture, I have worked in culture, I know how it is right now for many people there. But to really stop being on focus on, oh my God, what's happening, and relaxing into the moment, and like accepting this overwhelm, the fear, everything. When we do that, we can all of a sudden see new doors opening. Maybe like that you can do something that you never thought about before, because all of a sudden people start asking you, hey, do you give teaching classes online, or do you do this or do you do that? And this is when we can respond to it.
Yeah. Meditation has so many forms. That's really not just sitting and closing your eyes. It can be while you're cooking or while you're in the shower. Whenever you manage to calm your monkey mind and get into that different state in the brain. And acceptance also means that's not just a blissful feeling. Acceptance also means that I don't judge if at the moment my feelings hurt, but I really sit with that painful feeling. And acceptance also means, for me especially, that I always know I'm not alone, that the universe is helping me. I just need to trust that I can surrender to the moment, and then that there will be a next step, but I cannot clearly see it yet.
Yes.
And very often we think, and that's where the stress comes in again, we think we need to push, we need to rush, it's supposed to be hard, and we need to kind of work against life. But acceptance means I can trust that life is always with me.
Yes. I really think the most important part, what you said, is the non-judging part, to really stop judging the so-called negative feelings. Because I mean, like, the thing is this, like, negative feelings does not equal suffering. That's what we think, but that's not true. If we can just experience the pain, just let it flow through us, for example, not withholding on it, not clinging on the story, not making it a drama, but just feeling the pain is not the same as suffer. Because the suffering starts when we actually start resisting what is happening or what we are feeling, or when we are afraid. It's okay to feel afraid. Everyone feels afraid, just nobody talks about it. Like, we all know what it feels like to be afraid.
Yeah.
The problem is that we don't give it space, that we cling onto it, or we push it away, or we make it our life stories to build our whole life around fear. That's when it becomes destructive. But when we can just accept, okay, I feel fear now, and really be present with that fear, or I feel sad or angry. Oh my God, anger, total different story for us women, especially, because, oh my goodness, an angry woman, that's like something that is so not accepted in our society. But man, we are angry too, to really be in that rage, in that sacred rage, and to just express it in a healthy way. That's something so powerful. And when we can open this door to the so-called negative feelings, we automatically open the door also to these beautiful feelings, because you can have access to both sides.
Yeah, and you sometimes need to see the other side, or go through the other side and experience the other side first, to see the, for you, positive side again. That's just our mind who does the label: positive, negative, good, bad. For our soul, it's all about the experience. And it's like, if you have, like, your whole year is just full of sun, you would not appreciate it as much as if you had a long period of rain, and then suddenly the sun comes and you really. And the same goes with every crisis. Or a phrase that often helps me is also, this will pass.
Yes.
It's a period. And whether that is a transition that I feel in when things don't feel aligned in my business, or whether that's when some of my children go through a difficult phase where I kind of don't recognize them anymore, or something is transforming in them that I think, okay, also or in the relationship, all these really uncomfortable feelings eventually are here to help you clarify again, what do I want? what's next, what
when you use it, when you don't push it away,
when you don't,
that's
yes,
the point.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because of course in a relationship, when there's separation, if you could just keep ignoring it and think, oh, this shall pass too, it will pass, but it will not go away if you don't address the I mean, of course, in a relationship, there are always times of, you know, more separation and then closeness. That's totally normal that you have these kind of waves. And at the same time, when there's a big problem in your life and you keep ignoring it and you keep pushing the feelings away and you don't address them, nothing will change. They just come back even heavier. That's the key, is that to really embrace it and say, okay, what is what's the lesson in this? What's there? And while embracing it, knowing that it will pass, because again, it's not that here to stay. These feelings are never here to stay. They're here to touch us, and then they go again and make, it's like nature, you know, like trees, they grow, they have beautiful leaves, they have maybe even fruit, and then they fall down and die. Everything dies, and in the spring everything comes back up. That's how life is. It's
exactly. And that's of course easier said than done, because whenever we feel the pain, whenever we feel not in alignment, we want to change it immediately, and just feel this blissful state again. So what are some tools that you use for yourself whenever you try to accept things?
Well, I think the problem is, you just said when you're not aligned, and I think that's what most people think. You're not aligned when you feel negative, or negative when you feel some off feeling. And I think the point is, we can still be aligned in those feelings. This is what I practice, like really, you know, finding alignment within the sadness or the fear, and reconnecting to the divine through the feeling itself, even getting closer, finding the hope, finding the faith, finding the trust, you know. And I think this helps me a lot, you know, not fighting against it, because I'm a natural fighter, you know. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want that, you know, like, go away, and trying to find strategies to fight it. I'm a fighter, not a runner, but a fighter. But this doesn't help it neither, because then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the resistance builds up and builds up. But to really let go of this fight and surrendering or accepting the what is, and this really helps to really just be the sushi roll for a day, you know, to really roll up in front of your TV, watch whatever movie makes you cry, and just be there in that state, not with like pitying yourself, but really just being okay with a sushi roll day.
I just try to imagine you as a sushi roll in the blanket.
Oh my god, this is how I look like all rolled up. Yeah, and it's okay, you know, to be just going through those emotions and to accepting these emotions as part of life, knowing, as you just said, this shall pass too. So this is my key, like really being you know, like in German there's a word durchlässig, or porous.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
These little things that have like little holes, so that it can seep through it, so that you can the feelings can just really seep and flow through you, so that you don't block them or withhold them, but just being part of this wave that is touching you. Like, let yourself be moved by it, and not trying to hold it together or being whatever you think you have to be, and giving yourself the space to be present in those feelings. And of course, I get it, you cannot always have that. If you have such a feeling within a meeting with a very important CEO or whatever, maybe you cannot just sushi roll at that moment, but you know, to really give yourself space to do that later, to just really take time to be present with yourself.
I just translated it. It's really, as you said, either porous or penetrable.
Be penetrable, like
transmissible. Yeah.
Transmissible.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
you guys get
you get it.
Okay, like this, like really this, I think this is my number one tool. And talking about feelings, you know, I'm a talker, obviously, and it helps me if somebody asks me to talk. This is even better. You know, I want to talk about it, and then I can really just get it out of my system and work through it, and also realize, oh, okay, that's actually just it's not that big as I thought it was.
Yes. Yeah.
There's hope. And you?
So for me, it's often before I can talk about it, I kind of need to go through it on my own first. And what I often do, I try to see myself from above, like as if I would stand on a cliff or on a mountaintop, and I see my small self down there, and I just try to see the whole picture and what advice I would give my little self or lower self down there. And then I often just do automatic writing to kind of get all the junk out of my system, and then see what my clear self would tell me, kind of this, really listening to an intuition's wisdom. Yeah. And then of course also talking once I'm ready, once I feel like I myself found the next step of solution, then I try to, and that of course helps because other people see the whole picture clearer than yourself. And often it's probably more holistic than you use yourself, because you only see this little story that you are telling yourself.
And I think it's also very important that you choose your people wisely, who you talk to, you know, to really feel who can hold me in this, who will give me advice, or not even, doesn't have to be advice, but who can hold me in this capacity that I know I will feel better afterwards. Because there are also people who have the capacity,
make it worse.
Not because they're bad people, but because they get triggered themselves in that, and then they project their whole story on you. So for me, like it's 3 people. You are one of them that I share these things when I'm in the funk. Like other people I just shared when I'm already out of it, totally out of it, you know, when it's kind of, I'm dancing with my story, I'm not my story anymore. But as long as I'm in the story, I really need people who are non-judgmental, who really can just let me be and don't have to fix me, you know.
Yes.
In everything, because it's never about fixing. We're always whole. We're never kapot.
Yeah. And it's often also that you attract those people, or maybe you have contact with clients who go through the same at the moment. I have this often, that I'm with something I'm working on, and then I have a client or a private student, and we talk, we go into the depth, and then it's the same story there.
And then you solve it actually also for yourself.
Yes, it's a win-win.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I had that too earlier. I haven't had that for a while now, but I remember that we often like, what the hell? I keep attracting my own issues here. And yeah, but this is not logical. It's the law.
Yeah, it's the wound who becomes the healer.
Yeah. And that's the point. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like everything, it's also when we go into the gene keys, what you have in your shadow, that's where your clients are. And you have the gift because you already are so well, you have worked with that stuff, so that you know how to turn the shadow into the gift. That's what you're teaching your people. They are, you help them, literally helping them out of the shadow into the gift.
Yeah, and that's why it's really precious if you start before you are ready with things, or what you teach, or what you maybe help people with. That's I observe that very often, that people are afraid to start with an idea, with a project, with a business idea, because they think they haven't. They're not there yet. They're still kind of lingering in a shadow. But actually, there will always be people who are one step behind you.
That's true.
Or where you were yesterday.
Exactly. Or just you sharing about it makes the healing, because they feel seen.
Yes.
That's also what often happens.
Yes.
You know, because like there's such a power in feeling seen within your own pain. It's not about solving, it's not about fixing, but just being seen, be acknowledged, and to see, oh, I'm not crazy, or there's nothing wrong with me. It's just
yes,
it's just how it can be, right?
exactly. And that's always when you have a question, you often realize, wow, I'm just finding the right book that's exactly my story, or there's a podcast that she's talking about exactly what I need right now. That's how life works, and that's where we can really trust that life is always with us, never against us.
Yes, everything happens for us and not to us. Yes. And I think this is a very deep wisdom. And I think also when we come back to the manifestation part, the conscious manifesting, I really believe that trust is actually the key part. You know, like really trusting that life is there, like that it wants your best. And I think we get then into this trap when we think, oh, but what if not? What if this is actually, you know, when we start to like going into the fear and are resisting what life brings us.
Yeah.
Or judge it. It's like, oh my God, this is not what I've ordered.
Yeah.
Because life either brings us what we need or what we want. And mostly we get first what we need in order to get what we want. Because we first have to grow. We first have to get the lesson. We first have to understand and remove the blocks so that we can actually attract what we want.
Exactly. And also heal those wounds that are still operating in our system. And maybe the thing that I'm attracting is exactly the healer to the wound that's still active. And this phase between, let's say I have a vision and I do all the action to attract the vision, and then there is a space between when it will be manifested and the kind of the waiting phase, right? And in that waiting phase, so much can happen. Maybe you kind of, what often happens, nothing happens. And you get nervous and you get angry, and then your monkey mind starts again. Okay, this is not working, and why am I not lucky? And then you're already creating again this reality.
Yes.
And whatever force out there, the universe will okay, next order. I give you something to heal this question that you just gave me.
Yeah, that's
or we are already very far with our healing, and then we kind of get like tests. Things it feels almost like what we wanted, but not 100%. And we're like tested, and there it's really critical to realize this was just a test, and then not get discouraged and see it as a test.
True.
And often after, and maybe there will be 3 or 4 tests until the real thing happens, and you will feel when the real thing happens.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, like when you also are manifesting from how you should manifest, because there are specific and unspecific manifestors. And if you're specific, you can really go into the details, you know, really think about how it will look like, you know. And then you will see, because you're manifesting details, okay, it's there. And then, of course, you also have the responding feeling to that. And the unspecific manifestor, for them, it's all about getting into the feeling. Like the details, it just, you can use the details to get into the feeling, but it's all about the feeling. And I think even that this is even a more powerful attractor, because like emotions they determine everything. They determine our auric field, what we're attracting. Like people always say it's the thoughts, and of course the thoughts can influence our feelings, absolutely, but sometimes it's also the other way around, that us creating a surrounding where we feel safe and have good emotions can also affect our thoughts.
Of course.
So that we also
yeah.
don't or if we feel safe, that we feel seen, that we feel heard. And I totally lost my thread here, but I think
No, I mean, we could pick the thread up with an example. For instance, I mean, in your business, you are helping people to manifest their dream partner, soulmate, absolute love.
Yeah.
And let's say someone is still very there is still a lot of pain in the inner child from past experiences with past relationships, or even from childhood when there was loss, abandonment, or some kind of violence, whatever, and there is still a lot of pain, and we create from that vibration of that pain. And let's say someone is working on healing this inner child and all the wounds, and then you don't really know when you are healed, right? You can only the only way to get a feedback is what you attract.
Yes. And how you feel. It's also how you feel in your body, because then you totally see your world different, you know?
Yeah, but sometimes, isn't it sometimes that you actually feel totally okay, but there is still a program in you that thinks I'm not enough, or no one wants me, but actually you are like in life you're feeling great. That's just coming up very in a very deep layer, and you are constantly creating that let's say in the field of relationship from that vibration. So there it's very visible who you attract.
That's certainly true. Yes, like also how, for example, we had just had a client, she was like, she thought of herself as a couch potato, and she was like, oh my god, my life is just passing by, and I have missed everything out. She was single, freshly divorced, and she was just like frustrated. And now after working with us, she's like, oh my god, every day I get up and I think, oh my god, maybe I'm going to meet him today, you know. And she's like just in a total different space. And I think this, of course, she hasn't manifested it yet, but these people are reacting on her. People, you know, meet her in a total different energy. She goes also out, she goes for a walk, something she never did, and she's just excited about her life, and she feels sexy and like a vibrant. And I think this is the first thing that you feel. And I think for her, for example, it's now important that she doesn't think, you know, because she was like also asking, is it wrong of me to, you know, expect that I might meet him? And the answer is no, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you are not let down if you don't. That would be like that would be then like the bummer if you constantly, I didn't meet him again. But she's like, oh, whatever, you know, it's just she's open, and this openness together with this expectation is so beautiful. And I'm so sure she, in no time, she will attract the person that will really match her, who she is today, and not who she was before, in her true essence, because she's so vibrant, she's so alive, she's a total new person. And this is the beauty of it, because you feel it first, and people, when you feel it, other people feel it sure too. And it still can take a time, you know, until you manifest it literally, because sometimes, especially with soulmates, it can take some time, because of course they also need to get into your vortex and like find a way to bring you together. But to really stay in this trust and knowing that your life already is amazing now, and it's only getting better from there.
And that's with everything, you know, from manifesting a new apartment to manifesting your dream job, or creating your dream business, or getting pregnant, or whatever it is. It's really down to this inner work, and then always accept, okay, now I'm here, I surrender, and I've done my work, and trusting that exactly what you need right now will happen.
This is it. I think this is actually anyhow the key to a happy life. It's about really loving the shit out of yourself and being so compassionate with yourself as you can be. Because we will still fall down, and we think, sometimes we will think we're just fucked up, which is totally fine. But just being present and to just be trusting that everything is part of the journey, and that the journey is the goal and not the goal is the goal.
Yeah.
Because I just wrote yesterday a post about, you know, like how when I was single, the time when you knew me very well, you know, when I was like in my, you know, these little things that you love when you're being single, you know, like I was eating dinner from the fridge. Sometimes I spent the whole weekend naked, you know, in my bathrobe. I was hanging out of the window to smoke a cigarette because I didn't want to smoke in my apartment. You know, all these things I knew I would never hold up when I would be in a relationship, because you wouldn't do these kind of things. And this was also kind of a block in the beginning, because a part of me loved these little stupid rituals. Of course, I had also healthier versions of life, not only alcohol and cigarettes and whatever, but you know, like these little things, like just binge watching Legend of the Seeker all weekend long. All these things that you can do when you're single. And a part of me was afraid of losing that. And to really accepting, hey, this is now, really enjoying the shit out of it and looking forward to something new. Like this was my key there too, you know, to really fall in love and accepting my single life, knowing I can enjoy that now, because there will be a change, because I really, really wanted that relationship too, right? So like,
and maybe also then knowing or trusting that you don't have to, that there is even another solution that you haven't even thought of, that it's even better than what I'm holding on to now.
Exactly.
That there maybe is a partner who loves exactly the same things, or that maybe there is that job who unites all my talents, or that there is an apartment and I will have nature and the city next to it. I don't have to
choose. 100%. Yes, this is exactly what happened. Like we have now our own, because it was this sacred Priska bubble that I had, and now we just have this. I still have the sacred Priska bubble, and I still drink alcohol, like red wine from the bottle when he's gone.
Only when he's gone.
Only when he's gone, I'm doing that. And sometimes, not always. Exactly. But you know, we also have our thing. We dance in we have our dancing parties in the living room, and we have our hibernating days, and we have our dream days, and our, you know, we have all these beautiful other bubbles that we've created for ourselves. So it's only more. But you know, it really helped me back then to really fall in love with the life I've had.
Yeah.
Knowing that there will be an end, and there will be something else, and something new, and something even more exciting. Yeah.
And what if that phase of not accepting what is goes on and on and on and on?
Then you have to do some work to do.
Yeah.
Like that's when we see, when we keep repeating a pattern, that's when we have to change something from within. Because then we cannot blame the outside anymore. I mean, like it's not that we are, I mean, like this, we are interconnected, and it's not everything is just, in my opinion, everybody has another opinion. I don't believe that we manifest everything, because we're part of everything, you know. So it's also, stuff can happen in sense of you where you didn't have like a saying, maybe you did very unconsciously, but still, if something keeps happening over and over again, then we have to turn inwards. It's just, otherwise the blame game just doesn't work. It never does. It just never does.
Yeah. And also you always see what you are looking for, so you will probably see the reality that you want to see. And I could sit next to you and you would see a totally different.
That's so
reality.
funny that you say that. I just saw today a picture on Facebook, and it showed, like, it was a drawn picture, a sketch of like a train that went up, went up a hill.
Yeah.
On one side there was the did you know it? The mountain.
No,
but the other side was the beautiful view.
Yeah.
And they were sitting. The two people were sitting, and one just saw this mountain. It was very close and narrow and nothing, and the other one had the whole view. So the only thing that actually both is true, like there's a mountain and there's a view, you know. The question is just on what are you focusing on.
Exactly. And you're focusing on what's inside you.
Yes. And what you make of it, you know, it's also about really sometimes it really is about putting another focus on things. For example, when you have pain, physical pain, I'm very bad with physical pain, seriously. I'm really not good with physical pain. And to then still, you know, align within that and focus on the good things, but still it's a choice that we can make. It takes more willpower, it takes more discipline, but there's also parts in your body that don't hurt or that feel okay. And it's also okay to sometimes have a meltdown and just cry and be pity yourself. I do that too. But you know, like, just we always have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I just remember when I almost lost my foot once
Yes.
when I was traveling in Nepal, and I always thought when I will not be able to move, it will be the
End
of the world. And I just realized, actually, I still have a foot. So what can I do with that? Even if I had my leg up there for a month, and could not move, but I could concentrate on all the other parts that were healthy, and
Yes.
and I was so grateful that I still had a foot.
Yes.
So
True.
Yeah, sometimes we need those hammer experiences to really accept what is.
Yes. And of course, it's like easy for us to say you still have both feet, but still, I think, I mean, like there are so many inspirational people out there who really lost everything and they still can be happy. And I always think, man, we really have no excuse. We just don't.
Yeah.
We just don't. And this doesn't mean that I'm with this judging people who do have mental issues or who are depressed or whatever. I mean, depression is real. It's a sickness. And at the same time, we also have some power to change things if you really dare to go into the pain, dare to be swallowed by the pain and be spat out on the other side to start a new life. But this takes so much courage, I know.
Yeah, and also I think there are several stages also within depression.
100%.
100%.
Yes. Yeah, because I come from a family with depression, including suicides of depression. So I know how hard it is. And I also am not here to judge at all, because I really believe my grandpa, he took his own life. For him, it was the best solution. I honestly believe that. Not that I'm thinking, oh yeah, do it. But who am I to judge his journey, man? I'm really not here to judge. And I really saw he tried everything. And this was his way out. And
yeah.
But what I hear, he's very happy now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to make the closing sentence, do you have a nice quote about acceptance or something that...
We always have a choice. I think that's the thing. We have a choice, and there lies such a big power. A choice to embrace instead of reject, and a choice to be whole and not to be broken.
Yes. Amen.
Amen. Oh.
Yeah.
You?
Thank you.
Anything?
A quote or a nice.
You're the Christina wisdom of the day.
The Christina wisdom, the nugget, the truth bomb of the day.
Yes, please.
What comes to mind is seeing the little things and accepting the little things, because one day they could be really big. Often we're not able to accept what is here, and when we focus on the little gratefulnesses that we have each day, then it's much more then it's much easier to accept the present moment. So kind of doing a gratitude journal every day, I do that every day, to write down 5 things I'm grateful for, and I feel such a huge openness and acceptance for what I have if I do this practice.
Beautiful. Love it. Thank you.
So thank you again for fun, and today was kind of we didn't know where we go conversation, just accepting what comes and not judging it if we're just talking nonsense. And
exactly, so much nonsense it wasn't. It was just a bit various. Let us know where you are in the world, and what was your nugget of the day to take out of, or maybe you have to add something. And if there's anything else that you would like us to talk about, we would love to hear your voices, because we know you're watching, but you're very silent. So we would like to hear your voices. And thank you so much for being here, for watching. Until the next time with Truth Bombs and Bloopers.
Bye.
Bye. Let us know. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is a blooper. You can cut that. Truth Bombs and Bloopers. Und Christina.
Jedes Mal kommt eine neue Mischung.
Christina. Christina and Krishka. Oh yeah. Share your voices. Okay, hör nicht zu.
Es wird niemand mehr zuschauen.
Nee, alle sind weg. Wird weg.
Schauen wir, was sich ergibt.
Das heisst ja auch, dass du die Einleitung machst.
Genau. Weil du ja die letzte gemacht hast.
Stimmt.
Weil du die ja so gut gemacht hast.
So gut. Noch nie so gut die Einleitung.
Christian. Ich mit dem blöden Arm.
Ja. Ich schaue zum Fenster raus.
Also gut. Noch schnell eine Frage. Immer zu dem grünen Knopf rauf?
Ja, nicht immer. Ab und zu.
And actually that's why we love the bloopers so much, right? Because
Yeah.
It's things we wouldn't accept.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Went wrong, and the bloopers of life are exactly that. These mistakes we make, or the not so serious stuff that we make into something special.
We're loving our bloopers. Okay, we're serious.
Hello and welcome,
Christina and Krishka.